Today we're talking about goldfish. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Freshwater Fish. I'm your host, Sharkbait.
Sharkbait!
And today we're going to be talking about goldfish. Now, right behind me, I have a koi pond that I built just this last May, stocked with goldfish, Aplocostomus, and koi fish. So right now, our main focus is going to be teaching you guys how to take care of these beautiful creatures, these beautiful goldfish. We're going to go over tank size, we're going to go over feeding habits, filtration, everything you need to know to keep these beautiful fish. Alright guys, so to start us off, we're going to be talking about goldfish food. Now when you first get your goldfish, you're going to want to go over to either Petco, PetSmart, or Walmart and get yourself some nice goldfish tetra food. It's perfect flakes, it works for them all the time, they absolutely love it. I've had my goldfish for about 3 months in this pond. I've been feeding them that almost every single day. They still love it to this day. Now if you do want to change it up, they love vegetables, they love bloodworms, and they do, in fact, love cucumbers and spinach. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is going to be tank size. So whether you get them from a carnival or a pet store, you're going to have to think to yourself, where do you want to keep this fish? I would suggest either putting them in a 10-gallon or a 40-gallon tank. If you have a bigger option, definitely go with the bigger option. These fish do get pretty big. They start out with maybe being half an inch in the pet stores, and they can grow to be about between the lengths of 2 inches to 6 inches. They grow to about 12 to 14 inches in the wild, so do expect them to get very big very quickly. Alright guys, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is going to be water temperature of the tank itself. Now whether this is a 10-gallon or a pond or even a 40-gallon, the water temperatures are just about the same, and these are cold water fish. So you don't want to have it about 80 degrees or anything above that. You want to keep it between about maybe 60 to 70 degrees roughly, as much as possible. Just keep it nice and cold. They love the cold water, they prosper in it, they grow bigger, and all around, they just love the cold water. So make sure to keep those tanks nice and cool. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is going to be filtration of your aquarium. Now whether this is a 10-gallon, a 40-gallon, a pond, doesn't matter. I'm going to go down the list of the top 3 filtrations that you need in order to keep your fish alive. So starting off at number 1, we're going to be talking about mechanical filtration. Now these consist of pads or sponges, anything that traps big solid waste inside of the aquarium that your fish give off. Moving right down the line, we're going to be talking about biological filtration. And this is filtration that comes from the fish waste and the fish poop and turns it from anything toxic into nitrites and nitrates, which is good for plants and the fish inside of your tank. This is a lot less toxic than ammonia, and it helps a lot with the fish levels. The last one I want to talk about is chemical filtration. This is any sort of activated carbon that clears and removes any harmful chemicals from your tank. It also clears up any sort of discoloration in the tank and gets rid of any bad smelling water. So with all that being said, we're going to be talking about what types of filtration you need for your tank depending on what kind of tank you're going to get. Now if you're going to get a 10-gallon tank, I would suggest getting a sponge filter. These are biological and they're very nice for the tanks. However, these are the cheapest option. If you're looking for maybe something a little bit better that handles both mechanical and biological filtration, hang on the back filters are great for these. They're inexpensive, they're easy to maintain. Now if you are going with a very big aquarium, such as a 300-gallon, go with the canister filter. It's good at all 3. However, these are very expensive and they're very hard to maintain, so more than likely you're not going to be using this one for a while. Now, one thing I want to stress when keeping any sorts of fish, especially goldfish, is making sure that the tank size is correct. Now, just know that with the bigger tank you get, the more margin for error there is. Do not overfeed these fish. They're going to want to eat a lot, but you cannot let them, because that's going to cause more waste, and the more waste there is, the more toxic that water is going to become. So definitely do not overfeed these creatures. Alright guys, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is going to be tank mates. Now these fish are bred in captivity. From the moment they get to the pet store, from the moment they were born, they are bred in captivity. So they don't need a lot of tank mates. However, if you do need a tank mate for them, I would suggest either koi fish or a plecostomus. Some fish I would steer away from would be anything like tetras, cichlids, any sorts of small fish, or any sorts of oscars or defensive fish. These are very peaceful fish by themselves. And if you put them in one of those tanks, one of those communal tanks, they will just grow too big and they will cause all sorts of issues in your economy. So definitely do not put these in any sort of cichlid tank or any sort of neon tetra tank or any small fish tank, because these guys will get bigger and they will eat those fish. What I want to tell you guys about is water changes with goldfish. Now, if you do have a 10-gallon tank, you are going to have to do a lot more water changes, and this is because goldfish are very wasteful and very big fish. They take up a lot of room and they do poop a lot. And this is going to cause your tanks to get very dirty very quickly. So if you are going to own a 10-gallon tank, I would expect to have a water change about 3 to 4 times a week, depending on how big they are. If you have a 40-gallon tank, maybe 1 to 2 times a week. And then if you have a big pond, I would say you hardly never have to change the water. Maybe fill it up once in a while, but once you put them in there, they should be all right for just about maybe 3 months. But like I said, whenever you're doing water changes, you do want to condition your water every single time. This is very important because this is de-stress the fish, it keeps the pH levels right, and it keeps everything all together very healthy for the fish. Alright guys, so the last thing I want to talk about is going to be the nitrogen cycle of your tank. And this is going to happen with any new aquarium. Any new aquarium. So if you already have a pre-started aquarium like a 10-gallon or a 5-gallon or anything that has fish inside of it already living, go ahead and take some of that water and pour it into the new aquarium that you're building. If you do not have any old aquariums, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to add water to your fish tank. Then you're going to want to get yourself some fish food or flakes and put it inside that tank. Now, ammonia is going to be in that fish flakes. Bacteria is going to show up and eat that ammonia. Now, when it eats that ammonia, it's going to give off a bacteria called nitrites. Now, nitrites are going to then turn into nitrates, and that's why we have biological filtration, because that nitrite and nitrate is going to live on those sponges and anything biological inside a tank, such as plants, organisms, anything that it can hold, that's where it's going to stay. Now, the way to keep the nitrates balanced inside of your tank is doing water changes. You can do these monthly, weekly, even daily, depending on your tank size. Overall, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot, and it helps me grow and improve the quality of these fish tanks, as well as seeing the channel grow. We really want to get this channel up, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.